Good morning, my dear little friends. Welcome to our biological science live session. So till now we have completed 5 classes and learned regarding various factors required for the process of photosynthesis. Today we will learn how the photosynthetic process takes place in the plants, in the leaves. Before going into that, as usual, we will have a small quiz. Get ready for that. Through the quiz, we can recall what we have learned till now, right? Get ready, children. Plants prepare their food by the process of. Plants prepare their food by the process of. Waiting for the answer. Plants prepare their food by the process of. Meghna Lokanatham, right, Nana? Very good. Sri Pavan, right. Kanakalakshmi, right. Very good, Nana. Shivalingeswar Rao. Ganapati, very good, very good. Let us move to the next question. Dash gave the simplified equation for photosynthesis. Dash gave the simplified equation for photosynthesis. Dash gave the simplified equation for photosynthesis. Dash gave a simplified equation for photosynthesis. This time Kanakalakshmi gave a right answer for the first time. Very good, Nana. And then followed by Sri Pavan, Yama SK, Meghna Lokanatham, Shivalingeswar Rao, Mahesh. Very good, very good. Pavan Gopi, yesterday you felt that I am not taking your name. Generally, I am taking first 5 names, Nana, 3 to 5 names. You are also writing every answer rightly. Very good, Shabash. If you type quickly, then I can take your name, right? So the answer is C.B. Varnell. Excellent. So this is the picture of C.B. Varnell. Dash showed oxygen is released from water. Dash showed oxygen is released from water. Who proved that oxygen released in photosynthesis is coming from water but not from carbon dioxide? Who proved that oxygen is released from water but not from carbon dioxide during photosynthesis? Very good. Shivalingeswar Rao, Rajesh Chupalli, Prasanna Kumar Reddy, Sri Pavan, Yama SK, Lokanatham, CN Talks. Very good, Nana. You gave answer for this question for first. Robert Hill. Robert Hill is a scientist who proved that oxygen released in photosynthesis is coming from water but not from carbon dioxide. So this is his picture. Let us move on to the next question. Answer one by one, Nana. Who proved the importance of water for the plants and their growth for the first time? Excuse me. Who proved the importance of water for the plants for the first time? One helmet. Sri Pavan gave answer for 3. Very good. Shivalingeswar Rao, right, Nana. Yama, right, Nana. Very good. One helmet. One helmet proved that water is also essential for the growth of the plant. Then the next question. Who discovered oxygen? Yama, Kanakalakshmi, Prasanna Kumar Reddy, Boddu Sri Pavan. Very good, Nana. Joseph Priestley, Harsha Gaming Whitey. Very good. Oxygen was discovered by Joseph Priestley in the year 1774. Then who named oxygen? The name oxygen was coined by. Who named oxygen? Lavoisier, right answer. Boddu Sri Pavan. You gave the right answer for the first time. Very good. And Kanka Mahalakshmi, Meghna Lokanatham. Very good, Nana. Shivalingeswar Rao. Very good. Raviteja Sanni. Shabash, Nana. Very good. So this is Lavoisier's picture. Who noticed that oxygen formed only in the presence of light? Who noticed for the first time that oxygen formed only in the presence of light by the plants? Who noticed that oxygen formed only in the presence of light for the first time? Who noticed that oxygen formed only in the presence of light for the first time? Waiting for your answer. Sri Pawan, excellent Nanna. Engine House, right answer. Lokanadam, Meghana Lokanadam, right answer. Lavoid, Bandla Tejasri, okay, right answer. Yama SK, right answer. Rajesh Chupalli, right answer. Very good, Nana, very good. So, John Engine House noticed that oxygen is formed by the plants only in the presence of light. By Hydrilla experiment, he proved this fact. Who detected the point of maximum rate of photosynthesis? Who detected the point of maximum rate of photosynthesis? The point of maximum rate of photosynthesis was determined by a scientist by conducting experiments with the algae and the oxygen sensitive bacteria. And he found that more photosynthetic activity takes place in red and blue colored lights. Who determined this? Meghana Lokanathan, right, Anna Engelman. Sri Pawan, right, Anna. Sivalingeswara, right. Raja Ganapati, right. Rahman Basha, right, Anna. So the answer is Engelman. He confirmed that red and blue colored lights are more suitable. Red and blue colored lights are more suitable for the process of photosynthesis. What is the reagent used to test the presence of starch? What is the reagent used to test the presence of starch? What is the reagent used to test the presence of starch? Waiting for the answer. What is the reagent used to test the presence of starch? Sri Pawan, right? I think you have prepared the answers previously. Kanakalakshmi, right, Nana. Buttu Sri Pawan, right. Sivalingeswara, right. Rajesh Chupalli, right. Raviteja, okay, right, Nana, very good. So iodine is the reagent used to test the presence of starch. So many people, Manoj, Mokshit, RSM, all are giving right answer. Very good. And Buttu Sri Pawan answered in elaborated way. If we don't have iodine, we can use betadine or tincture iodine for it. Very good, very good. Into what color does the starch change when it comes in contact with iodine? Into what color does the starch change when it comes in contact with iodine? Into what color does the starch change when it comes in contact with iodine? Waiting for the answer. Into what color does the starch change? This time Raviteja, Sunny, Shivalingeswar Rao, Harshavardhan, Ganapati, Sri Pavan, very good, Nana. Everyone gave right answer. Very good. Black, blue. Black, blue. Very good. Gaseous exchange occurs in leaves through. Gaseous exchange occurs in leaves through. Sai Ram, Ramesh, Pavan Gopi. Very good, Nana. Nice answer. Answer this question now. Gaseous exchange occurs in leaves through. Gaseous exchange occurs in leaves through. Sri Pavan, right answer, Nana. Stomata. Kanakalakshmi, right answer. Shivalingeswara, right answer. Yama, right answer. Very good. So through the stomata, gaseous exchange takes place in leaves. So the stomata can be considered as a nose of the leaf. Alright, this is the stomata. Why do the plant kept in dark for few days before conducting experiment on photosynthesis? Before conducting experiments on photosynthesis, generally we keep the plant in dark for a few days, 2 to 3 days at least. Why? Why do the plant kept in dark for a few days before conducting experiments regarding photosynthesis? Sai Pavan, Sri Pavan, right answer, Nana. Rahman Basha, right answer. Prasanna Kumar Reddy, Yama, Buddu Pavan, okay, Kanakalakshmi, right. To de-starch the plant, to remove the resolved starch from the plant body, we can keep the plant in the dark for few days. So that we can able to find out whether newly starch formed in the plant body or not. What is the role of potassium hydroxide in half-leaf experiment? What is the role of potassium hydroxide in half-leaf experiment? Why we are using potassium hydroxide in the bottle while conducting experiments showing that carbon dioxide is released during the process of, carbon dioxide is essential for the process of photosynthesis. Shivaling Rao, right answer Nana, you said first, Shivaling Rao. And Rajesh Jupalli, right answer. Manoj, right but not completely given. Sri Pawan, right answer, very good. It is used to absorb carbon dioxide to make carbon dioxide free environment inside the bottle. Very good. So you are following well. Can we use any other plants in place of Hydrilla? In Hydrilla Tweaks experiment, can we use any other plant other than Hydrilla? Can we use any other plants in the place of Hydrilla in Hydrilla Tweaks experiment to show that plants release oxygen only in the presence of sunlight? Very good. Shivalingeswar Rao, Nandini, Yama, Rajesh, Rahman, Raviteja, Raja, Ganapati, Mokshit, Prasanna Kumar Reddy. Everyone is saying right. Very good. Yellowdina. If Yellowdina is not available, we can use Kara or any other aquatic plant. Any aquatic plants we can use for this experiment. And this no need to type. You just recall. Why are we using water plant for this experiment? Because terrestrial plants release oxygen directly. Again, it was not corrected. Directly into air. So it is difficult to see the gas releasing and to collect the gas. But if we take a water plant, aquatic plant, it releases oxygen directly into water, where we can able to see the releasing of oxygen in the form of air bubbles, and we can able to collect it easily. So for easy observation and easy collection of the gas released during photosynthesis, we use aquatic plant instead of terrestrial plants. Right. Which gas is released from Hydrilla Tweaks in the experiment? How can you test it? Which gas is released from Hydrilla Tweaks in experiment? How can you use it? How can you test it? Which gas is released? Shivalingaswara, excellent Nana, right answer. Oxygen. Sri Pawan, right answer. Raviteja Sunny, right answer. Bottu Sri Pawan, Raja Ganapati, Chitti, Rajesh, Nandini, Yedukondalu, Yama, Meghana, Srikantvi. Everybody is giving right answer. Yan Pawan Gopi, good. So oxygen, how can we test it? We can test it by introducing a burning splinter. If the burning splinter burns more brightly, we can confirm that the gas is oxygen, because oxygen is a supporter of combustion. Oxygen is the supporter of combustion. So we can use oxygen, we can test oxygen by introducing a burning splinter. Factors essential for photosynthesis. Let us recall the equation, very important. So many times I am repeating the same because these all are very important things that you should remember. 6CO2 plus 12H2O in presence of light and chlorophyll Qs, C6H12O6 plus 6H2O plus 6O2 gas. So this is the equation representing photosynthesis. This is the overall and balanced equation for photosynthesis. According to this, 6 molecules of carbon dioxide react with 12 molecules of water in presence of light and chlorophyll to form a molecule of glucose, 6 molecules of water and 6 oxygen molecules. Right. So what are the factors? Water, carbon dioxide, light and chlorophyll. These are the factors required for photosynthesis. What are the products? Glucose, water and oxygen. These are the products. From where it is getting the factors required? Plant is getting water from the soil, carbon dioxide from air, light from sun, and chlorophyll is already present within the plant inside the chloroplast of the plant cell. Is it clear? So all these factors regarding water, carbon dioxide, light and chlorophyll we discussed in previous classes. Let us recall little regarding chlorophyll, then we can go for the new topic. Every day half an hour for revision only. Dash proposed that only green plant parts could carry out the process of photosynthesis. He only said that oxygen is released in presence of light. So he discovered two things. One, plants can prepare oxygen only in presence of light. And second one, that too only the green parts of the plants can perform the photosynthetic process and release the oxygen. Prasanna Kumar Reddy, right answer Nanna. Sri Pavan, right answer. Meghana Lokanatham, right answer. Very good. So the answer is engine house. He said that only the green parts of the plant can perform photosynthesis and release oxygen, that too in presence of sunlight only. Who extracted chlorophyll for the first time? There are two scientists. Who conducted experiments on photosynthesis. They successfully isolated the green colored pigment called chlorophyll from the leaf for the first time. And they named it as chlorophyll, whose meaning is nothing but a green leaf. What are the names of those two people? Very good, Shivalingaswar Rao. Very good, Nana. Palantir and Cavendish. Yama SK. Right, Nana. Spelling little wrong, but your answer is right. Harsha Gaming, only one name you mentioned. Has to mention both of the names. Prasanna Kumar Reddy, very good. Ravi Teja, very good. Okay, Meghna Lokanatham. Right, very good. So the answer is these two people. Palantir are the first one and the Cavendish is the second one. These two people extracted chlorophyll from the green leaf and they named this chlorophyll as chlorophyll with the name green leaf itself. And they found that only the chlorophyll is not sufficient to carry out photosynthesis. Along with chlorophyll, there should be some other accessory pigments. Who proposed that chlorophyll is found in the organelles called chloroplast? Previously, people believed that the chlorophyll is spread all over the cell. But a scientist proved that it is not present all over the cell, it is just present inside a cell organelle that is exclusively present in plant cell and are absent in animal cell, called chloroplast. Who is the scientist? Proposed that this chlorophyll is found inside the chloroplast. Yeah, very good. Sivalingaswar Rao, Sri Pavan, Ravi Teja, Gangu Malli, Ganapati, very good Nana. Julius Van Sachs. And who broke up the plant cells so gently and extracted chloroplast for the first time? And he is the person who said that the intact form of chloroplast or the complete structure of chloroplast can able to perform photosynthesis even out of the leaf. Who broke up plant cells so gently and extracted chloroplast for the first time? Shivalingaswar Rao, right, Anna Arnon. Sri Pavan, right. His complete name is Daniel I. Arnon. Nandini, maybe I missed it, Anna. You may be at the 6th or 7th places. That's why I'm missing your name. Surely I will remember, and the next time I will take your name. Prasanna Kumar Reddy, right answer. Right, Anna. So the answer is Daniel I. Arnon. He proposed, he broken the plant cell so gently and extracted chloroplast out, and he demonstrated that the chloroplast itself can perform photosynthesis if you provide the remaining requirements like carbon dioxide, water and sunlight. The chloroplast is a membranous structure. How many membranes does it consisting of? Chloroplast is a membranous structure. How many membranes does it consisting of? I am repeating the question. Chloroplast is a membranous structure. How many membranes does it consisting of? Shivalingaswar Rao, right, Anna, 3, very good. Sri Pavan, right, excellent. Chandrakala, Sai Ram, very good. Sunny, Yama, Ganapati, Basha, Rahman Basha, very good, Nana. So it consisting of 3 membranes. Outer membrane and inner membrane, these two are the upper two. And the innermost third membrane, what is that? The third layer forms stalked sac-like structures called dash. The third layer forms stalked sac-like structures called dash. Waiting for your response. The third layer forms stalked sac-like structures called dash. Nandini, Pavan Gopi, good. Sri Pavan, excellent, Nana. You gave the answer for the first time. Granum. Ravi Teja, very good. Yama, very good. Sri Pavan, Shivalinga Swarrao, Chandra Lekha. Chandrakala. Chandrakala, Ganapati. Right, very good. Everyone is giving right answer, Grana. So it consisting of 3 layers. It is somewhat like disc shaped. This is one layer outer membrane, and this is the second layer inner membrane, and inside it the third membrane forms some stalks. These stalks are called grana. So the answer is grana. Granum is the plural for that. Grana is a singular, granum. The structure is called granum. Let us move on to the next question now. Dash are the sites for trapping solar energy. Dash are the sites for trapping solar energy. Which part of the chloroplast traps the solar energy? Kanakalakshmi, right on are thylakoids, but these thylakoids form grana. Right. So Sri Pavan, excellent, Nana, right answer. Thylakoid or granum, whatever you write, that is right. Granum, group of thylakoids are called as granum. They trap the solar energy. Answer this question. The intermediary fluid filled portion in chloroplast is called. The intermediary fluid filled portion in chloroplast is called dash. The intermediary fluid filled portion in chloroplast is called dash. Shivalinga Swarrao, excellent. Stroma, right answer. Prasanna Kumar Reddy, right answer. Ravi Teja, right answer. Sri Pavan, right answer. Harsha, right answer. Very good, very good. So the answer is stroma. And dash is responsible for enzymatic reaction leading to the synthesis of glucose, which is known as dark reaction. Answer is same, so I am not going to ask because I may not identify for which question you are answering, right? Stroma only. Stroma is responsible for enzymatic reactions leading to the synthesis of glucose. Synthesis of glucose takes place in dark reaction that we are going to learn in today's class. Chlorophyll is a pigment which contains one atom of dash. Very important, I said. It is similar to structure to that of heme or hemoglobin. So I have two questions here. First answer this. Chlorophyll is a pigment which contains one atom of dash. Chlorophyll is a pigment which contains one atom of dash. Very good. Sri Pavan, very good, Nana. Yama SK, very good. Harsha, very good. Mehanti, very good. Shivalinga Swarrao, very good. Suresh, Lokesh, okay, very good, very good. Magnesium. Then my second question in this is, it is similar to structure of heme of hemoglobin. What does this heme consisting of? Which element is present? Which element is present in heme? Which element is present in heme? Very good. Sri Pavan, excellent, Nana. Iron. Shivalinga Swarrao, excellent. Harsha Gaming, excellent, Nana. Meghna Lokanatham, yeah. Everyone is saying right answer. Iron. Iron is present in hemoglobin, whereas magnesium is present in chlorophyll. Color of chlorophyll A is. What is the color of chlorophyll A? Sri Pavan, it had iron element. It carries oxygen. Okay. of chlorophyll A is Shivalinga Swarrao, right? Right answer, good. Not simply green. Okay, Sripavan, right answer. Ravi Teja, right answer. Yama, right answer. Yeah, now everyone is giving right. Blue, green color. Shabash. Then the color of chlorophyll B is. Color of chlorophyll B is. Color of chlorophyll B is. Shivalingaswara again. Excellent, Nana. Sunny, Ravi Teja, Sunny, excellent. Sri Pavan, excellent. Right. Good. So yellow. Meghana, excellent. Chandrakala, excellent. Okay. The right answer is yellow, green color. Very good. Around dash molecules are grouped as light harvesting complex or photosynthetic units in each granum. In the granum, chlorophyll and other accessory pigments are grouped to form some reaction centers or light harvesting complexes or photosynthetic units. Alright, how many pigment molecules, around how many pigment molecules are grouped? Here you have to mention the number. How many molecules of pigments grouped here? Prasanna Kumar Reddy, excellent Nana, excellent. Rajesh, Shabash. Sripavan, very good. Shivalinga Rao, Harsha, Lokesh, excellent. Now everyone is giving right answer. Very good. 250 to 400. 250 to 400 pigment molecules grouped together to form light harvesting complex or photosynthetic unit. They are also called as photosystems. Yesterday, I thought to show this video to you, and due to the technical issues, I failed to show it in a proper way. So just have a glance here, Nana. It was made by California Academy of Science to understand how the structure of leaf is inside till the light harvesting structures, till that. You just observe it. So you are going into the leaf now. You are going into the leaf. Let us present on the lower surface of leaf. On the lower surface of leaf, you are opening on the stomach, right? So we are going to the stomach and the short cell. V-shaped short cell. From short cell we are having here. So this is sponge tissue sitting around the surface tissue. So all the cells. So from the sponge tissue practically we are moving up. We are moving towards the sponge cell and interpalatal are demarcated into the cell. They are seeing various cell organelles here, like mitochondria, chloroplast, bundles of chloroplast, and the violet covered bundles of mitochondria. Cytoskeleton you can able to see here. Nucleus, all the structures in the nucleus. This is the chloroplast structure. Yes, this is inside the chloroplast, you can find the granum. And the grana are connected by stroma lamellae or stroma thylakoid, and it is filled with a colorless fluid, and this fluid is called stroma. Over the grana, see here, sometimes yellow, green, and blue pigments are grouped here. They are moving, right? These are light harvesting structures, photosystems. Right, light pigments are present on the liquid layer of the grana. They can harvest solar energy and convert solar energy into chemical form of energy. And the chemical form of energy inside the stroma, influenced by the carbon dioxide, influenced by the stroma, influenced by the stroma, convert the carbon dioxide into glucose by releasing chemical energy. Right. So this is what I thought to show you yesterday. Let us move to the next slide. Now we entered into actually today's class. Do these leaves perform photosynthesis? Observe the leaf given here. You can find that the leaf had a white patch here and it had green patch here. So there are two patches here, right? On every leaf there is some region where there is white in color. White in color means do it contain chlorophyll or any pigment? No. So these white colored patches, they don't have a chlorophyll. As they don't have chlorophyll, if we take a leaf from this plant and test it with the iodine solution, we can find that only the green part of the leaf will turn into black blue. Only this part will turn into black blue. And remaining part will remain the same. Right? So only the green region, this region, it change into bluish in color and remaining part will remain the same. Indicating that only in the green part of the leaf photosynthesis is happening and in the white part of the leaf there is no photosynthetic activity. Right. By this we can conclude that chlorophyll is also essential for the process of photosynthesis. So these kind of plants are called variegated leaf. Variegated leaves. In this variegated leaf, only the chlorophyllous area will perform photosynthesis and the non-chlorophyllous area does not perform photosynthesis, indicating that chlorophyll or chloroplasts are essential for the process of photosynthesis. So if we test these leaves with iodine, we can find that only the green parts of the leaf, only the green parts of the leaves, they turn into blue-black. Okay, but the white part of the leaf means non-chlorophyllous area, it remains same. This indicates that only the chlorophyllous part can perform photosynthesis. Got it? Let us move on to the next slide. Observe these plants now. Observe these leaves. It's not like the previous one I have shown you. If you see here, the newly formed leaves, they are somewhat reddish or brownish in color, right? And these leaves are also reddish in color. They are not white, they are red. And these leaves, they are somewhat red, brown, like so, and somewhat yellow in color. Then do these plants perform photosynthesis? Do these leaves perform photosynthesis? Yeah, you are right, Nana. Sipavan, we use red colored plants to decorate our houses. They perform photosynthesis. Your question is valid. We may get a doubt that these red colored leaves perform photosynthesis or not. In fact, here what we should know is, in a plant, chlorophyll is one kind of pigment. Along with this, there are some other pigments like carotenoids, xanthophylls, all these. Carotenoids are somewhat red in color, xanthophylls are somewhat yellowish in color. Unlike the previous leaves, these leaves, they contain chlorophyll also. Chlorophyll, carotenoids, xanthophylls, all these pigments are present in these leaves. Okay. But these leaves contain more carotenoids than the chlorophyll. And this leaf contains more xanthophylls than the chlorophyll. But chlorophyll is there. It is masked by the other pigments. So it can perform photosynthesis. If you have any doubt, you can take this kind of leaf one and conduct the iodine test. You can find out the entire leaf will change into black blue, indicating that chlorophyll is present inside it and performing photosynthesis. In fact, this kind of newly formed leaves, they are red in color because this pigment carotenoids, they cover the chlorophyll and protect the chlorophyll from the heavy sunlight, right? So they perform photosynthesis, no doubt in that. These non-green leaves also have chlorophyll, a large amount of red, brown, yellow and other pigments, like I mentioned, carotenoids, xanthophylls, all these. They mask the green color. That means there is green inside, just they are masked by these colors. So photosynthesis takes place in these leaves also. So chlorophyll is present in red and yellow colored leaves. But chlorophyll is absent in certain leaves, that too in certain areas where it is white in color. Okay. In 9th you have studied about plastids. Leucoplast, chloroplast, chromoplast, like this. Chloroplast is green in color. Chromoplasts are plastids that are in different colors, like xanthophyll, carotenoid, all these. Right? These plastids have the ability to change from one form to another form. Like for example, if you observe a tomato, this tomato when it is newly forming, if you observe when it is covered by the what we say that when it is covered by its calyx, it is inside the calyx, then it is white in color, means it is consisting of leucoplasts. Later it changed into green in color, then the leucoplast was converted into chloroplast. Later it changes into red color, means it changes into chromoplast. Thus these plastids can change from one form to another form. This is the reason why the pale red colored newly formed leaves gradually change into thick or dark green colored leaves. Right. So here what we should know is, even the leaves are non-green, this red, brown or yellow colored leaves have the chlorophyll inside. Other pigments, red, brown and yellow colored pigments are covering the green color, they mask the green color, so it is not appearing green. But there is green inside, there is chlorophyll inside, so they can perform photosynthesis. Is it clear? Now, what will happen during photosynthesis? The mechanism of photosynthesis. Actually, it's a very complex mechanism, Nana. It had several steps and it is little confusing in fact. But in our textbook, it was precise, it was simplified and given in an easier way. So it is not at all difficult one. It is an easy one. We can learn as it was given in our textbook. If anybody needs the complete explanation, later we can discuss once again. But now I am going to explain you how the photosynthesis happens according to our textbook in a simplified way, in a simple manner. Right? Actually, in photosynthesis, three major events occur. The first one is the absorption of light energy by chlorophyll. When leaves are exposed to sunlight from the sun, the sunlight will reach the leaf in the form of tiny particles called photons. The tiny particles present in light, we call them as photons. So, these photons have some energy called quantum energy. All this is actually not needed for you. You just know that, you just remember that light has some energy in the form of photons. It has some particles called photons and it has some energy. So the light falls on the chlorophyll absorbs the energy, it takes the energy, right? And the second thing, when chlorophyll absorbs the light energy, that light energy will be converted into chemical energy. During this process, water molecule will split, splitting of water molecule into hydrogen and oxygen will take place. You should not say it as hydrogen, but hydrogen ion. Later we can go through the process and you can understand it very easily. Right. So first thing, chlorophyll has to absorb the light. Second thing, using the energy present in the light, chlorophyll should break down the water molecule into H plus and OH minus and thereby it forms the oxygen. Then certain chemical energies will come. Later I will explain you ATP and NADP H will form. And third one, using that chemical energy, carbon dioxide will be reduced to carbohydrate. Here we should know what is meant by reduction. In fact, in any biochemical reaction, two kinds of chemical reactions will take place. One is called oxidation, and second one is called reduction. The addition of oxygen, if you add oxygen to some substance, then we call it as oxidation. Or removal of hydrogen, then also we call it as oxidation. Or if we take atom, removal of electron also can be considered as oxidation. So oxidation means addition of oxygen or removal of hydrogen or removal of electron. Right? Reduction is just opposite to this. If we remove oxygen from any molecule, then it can be considered as reduction. Removal of oxygen or opposite I said no. Addition of hydrogen. If we add hydrogen to any molecule, then we call the process as reduction. Or addition of electron to an atom. This can be considered as reduction. Photosynthesis is also a kind of oxidative and reductive reaction. Oxidative reduction takes place here. Here we are saying that carbon dioxide is reduced to carbohydrate. Why? Because carbon dioxide, it has carbon and oxygen, right? These two are present. To this, in this process, hydrogen is being added. H will be added. What is the formula for glucose? C6, H12O6, right? So, to carbon dioxide, to carbon and oxygen, we are adding hydrogen. Addition of hydrogen is called reduction. So, we are simply saying that reduction of carbon dioxide to carbohydrate. Okay, reduction of carbon dioxide to carbohydrate. So, these three steps will take place in photosynthesis, but these steps need not take place one after the other immediately. Okay. In fact, these steps we can classify into two categories. The first two steps collectively, this is called a light reaction. Light reaction. And the third one, it is called a dark reaction. Of course, they have some other names we can discuss in the next slide. So here what we should remember is, in photosynthesis, first chlorophyll absorbs the light, and by absorption of light it gets some energy. That energy is used for splitting water molecule into hydrogen and oxygen. And here, using the chemical energy formed during this process, carbon dioxide will be reduced to carbohydrate. Okay. So let us see the actual process how it happens. A series of chemical reactions occurs in a very quick succession immediately by light. When light falls on the chlorophyll, let us consider here. Are you able to see this? Here the chlorophyll is present. It has the grana and it is filled with the stroma. When light falls on it, as I said previously, it had some particles called photons. These photons have some energy, right? The energy present in these photons is absorbed by the light harvesting structures present on the grana. Already we discussed grana consisting of chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B, and other ancillary pigments. 250 to 400 such pigments grouped to form light harvesting structures, reaction centers. So these reaction centers absorb the photons. The pigments present in reaction centers absorb the photons and get some energy. They get energized. Chlorophyll molecule get energized. The energy present in photons will be transferred into chlorophyll. Okay. So here, if you observe, this reaction starting with the light, starting with the energy present in light, right? The particles present in light are called photons. So this reaction can be considered as a photochemical reaction. And the sequence of reactions that we are going to discuss now, they can be called as photochemical phase. This is the first phase of photosynthesis. Photochemical phase, which is also called as light dependent reaction, or simply called as light reaction. Light dependent reaction or light reaction or photochemical phase. Right. In this process, light is used, the energy present in light is used and it is converted into chemical form of energy. So what happens during light reaction of photosynthesis? During the light reaction of photosynthesis, light energy will be converted into chemical energy. How it happens, that we will discuss. That's what I am saying. When light falls on the chlorophyll, it gets excited, it absorbs the energy present in photons, it gets excited and enter into its higher energy level. It becomes higher energy, molecule. And this energy molecule, the light reaction takes place in the grana of the chloroplast. As we discussed it now, it takes place in the grana of the chloroplast. This high energy is useful for splitting the water molecule. So the chlorophyll on exposure to sunlight, light energy, it became activated by absorbing the photons. So what is happening here? This is chlorophyll. When light fall on it, it is getting excited, activated. Activated chlorophyll we can show as this star mark. So it indicates the activated chlorophyll. Now this activated chlorophyll in fact loses one electron, but of course this is little confusion for you. You just remember that it gets activated. This activated chlorophyll is helpful for splitting the water molecule. So now this activated chlorophyll, it splits the water molecule into its compounds. When water molecule splits, it forms protons and OH minus, H plus ions and OH minus ions. Is it clear? So I am repeating once again what is happening here. When leaf is exposed to sunlight, the chlorophyll absorbs the photons present in sunlight and get activated. This activated chlorophyll splits the water molecule into H plus and OH minus ions. Is it clear? Later I will explain it in a flow chart, then you can understand a little more easily. Here what is happening? When light falls on the chlorophyll molecule, it is absorbing photons present in light and get activated. This activated chlorophyll splits the water molecule into H plus and OH minus ions. This process of splitting of water molecule by the light activated chlorophyll. Actually, chlorophyll is not directly splitting the water molecule. It is splitting the water molecule only after it takes the energy from the light, right? So light activated chlorophyll is splitting water molecule into H plus and OH minus ions. Such a reaction we call it as photolysis. Photo means light, lysis means breakdown. Breakdown of water molecule into H plus and OH minus ions by the light activated chlorophyll. We call it as photolysis. Actually, this process was first described by Robert Hill. So it is also called as Hill reaction. Photolysis means splitting by light. This was discovered by Robert Hill, hence it is also called as Hill reaction. By showing this, he confirmed that oxygen releasing from the photosynthesis is coming from water but not from the carbon dioxide. So what we discussed in this slide, let us recall once again. You just follow this one, what is happening here. When light fall on the chlorophyll, when light fall on the leaf, chlorophyll molecules absorbs the photons and get energized or get activated. So chlorophyll, when exposed to sunlight, it get activated. This activated chlorophyll splits the water molecule into H plus and OH minus ions. This process of splitting water molecule into H plus and OH minus ions is called photolysis. Photo means light and lysis means breakdown. So photolysis means splitting by light. And this was first demonstrated and proved by Robert Hill. So this reaction is also called as Hill's reaction. This reaction is also called as Hill's reaction. Is it clear? Okay. Again I am repeating because it is important. When light fall on the leaf, the photons present in light are absorbed by chlorophyll and chlorophyll get activated. Activated chlorophyll splits the water molecule into H plus and OH minus ions. This process of splitting of water molecule into H plus and OH minus ions by light activated chlorophyll is called photolysis. In this word photolysis, photo means light and lysis means breakdown. Means breakdown of water by the light. So splitting by light, that is the meaning for this. And this was first proved by Robert Hill. So it is called as Hill reaction. Right. So let us move to the next step. The highly reactive ions, here H plus and OH minus ions are formed now. They undergo quick changes. What are those quick changes? Actually, these OH minus ions, through a series of steps, means so many reactions takes place to produce water and oxygen. Okay. So here I am writing what we discussed previously. When sorry, when light forms on chlorophyll, this chlorophyll get activated, and this activated chlorophyll act on water molecule, and this water molecule was split into H plus and OH minus ions. Now we are saying that these OH minus ions, they undergo a series of reactions to form oxygen and water again. You can assume like this. OH minus ions, actually minus means electron deficiency. All this, if you go deep, it will be little confusing. So OH minus, it is split into, if you take 4 molecules of OH minus, 4 O's are present and 4 H's are present, right? 2 H2O, 2 2's 4 hydrogens and 2 oxygens plus O2. This is happening here. Got it? So OH minus ions, after a series of reactions, they form oxygen and water. This oxygen, it goes out of the leaf through the stomata, and this water used by the plants. Got it? So I am repeating once again what is happening here. During light reaction, when light fall on the leaves, the chlorophyll present on the grana absorbs the photons present in light, and it get activated, and the activated chlorophyll splits the water molecule into H plus and OH minus ions. These OH minus ions, after a series of reactions, forms oxygen and water. Right? This oxygen escapes out through stomata, and water will be used by the plants. Right? So oxygen is usually released into atmosphere. And what remained here? H plus ions are remained, right? Actually, these H plus ions, now see here, I said this entire process is happening inside the chloroplast, right? Inside the chloroplast there are grana. Till this what we discussed, it happened on grana. So over the grana, now H plus ions are present. When more H plus ions are accumulated here, present here, the concentration of H plus ions are more here and less in the stroma. So these H plus ions move from grana to stroma. H plus ions are charged particles. Movement of charged particles release the energy. So H plus ions, when move, they forms the energy. This energy is converted into ATP and stored in the plant. Right? ATP is the chemical form of energy. In the form of ATP, energy is stored in cells. So ATP is called as energy currency of the cell. So this H plus ions, after they move from grana to stroma, during this movement some amount of energy will come. That energy is useful for the formation of ATP, energized molecules. This is a chemical form of energy, ATP. Right? And finally, this H plus ions reaches NAD or NADP to form NADPH or NADPH. These are the chemical compounds present inside the stroma. NAD, nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide. Remember the name? Nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide. NADP, nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide phosphate. When this H plus ions move from grana to stroma and combine with the NADP, it forms NADPH. We can call it as reduced nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide phosphate. Reduced nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide phosphate. So this ATP and NADPH are used in the dark reaction. So they are the link between the light reaction and the dark reaction, right? So compounds that can trap energy like ATP and NADPH are formed at the end of the light reaction. These are assimilatory powers. ATP and NADPH are also called as assimilatory powers. These are the link between light reaction and dark reaction. H plus ions produced in photolysis are immediately picked up by NADP to form NADPH. That's what I explained. So till this, the entire process we call it as a light reaction. Let me explain the light reaction once again. When light falls on the leaf, the photons present in light absorbed by chlorophyll and get energized. This energized chlorophyll splits the water molecule into H plus and OH minus ions. These OH minus ions, after a series of reactions, forms oxygen and water. This oxygen goes out of the leaf through stomata, and water will be used by the plant. Then the protons will remain. These protons are helpful for the formation of ATP and NADPH. These protons move from grana to the stroma. In the stroma, in its movement, some energy will release that helps in formation of ATP, adenosine triphosphate, and these are transferred to NADP to form NADPH. Thus, at the end of the end of the light reaction or photochemical phase, ATP, NADPH, oxygen and water will form. ATP and NADPH are the assimilatory powers that can be used in the dark reaction. Right? Oxygen goes out and water will be used by the plant. This is regarding the light reaction. It happens only in presence of light and it occurs in the grana of the chloroplast. When it comes to next step, actually the second step of the second phase of the photosynthesis is termed as dark reaction. This dark reaction is also called as light independent phase. Light independent phase. This is also called as carbon fixation or biosynthetic phase or Kelvin cycle. Right? Why these many names? Previously, the second phase of photosynthesis is called as dark reaction, but the apt name is light independent phase because this reaction does not occur in dark. It is independent of light, means it not depend on light, That means it takes place both in presence of light or in absence of light. It takes place both in presence of light or in absence of light. So it can be called as light independent phase. During this process, carbon dioxide is fixed in the form of carbohydrate. So it is called as a carbon fixation. Carbohydrate or glucose is being synthesized, so it is called biosynthetic phase. The entire reaction, the sequence of reactions were first discovered by a scientist known as Melvin Kelvin, who got Nobel Prize for his study. So it is also named as Kelvin cycle. But here you just remember these names: dark reaction, light independent phase, or biosynthetic phase. What happens during this process? It occurs in the stroma of chloroplast. It takes place in the stroma of chloroplast. The hydrogen present in NADPH, I said ATP and NADPH formed in light reaction will be used in the dark reaction. So this NADPH is formed in light reaction. From this hydrogen will be removed and again NADP will form. So this hydrogen is utilized to combine with the carbon dioxide. For this process, for the combining of hydrogen with the CO2, energy is required. That energy will come from ATP. Means NADPH and ATP formed in light reaction are used here to add the hydrogen to carbon dioxide to form the glucose. Right. So this is what happens in the dark reaction. During this process, certain intermediate compounds like RuBP are used. Ribulose 1,5-bisphosphate. You just remember the name ribulose 1,5-bisphosphate. Like this, several intermediate compounds are formed, but this is the first intermediate compound used in this process. So several intermediate compounds like ribulose 1,5-bisphosphate will be used in this process to produce the glucose. So carbon dioxide uses the ATP present in the formed in the light reaction and the NADPH NADPH, hydrogen present in NADPH to produce the glucose. Right, this happens in the dark reaction. Finally, this glucose formed in dark reaction, it will be converted into starch and stored in the plant body. So several glucose molecules combine together to form the starch. Actually, this starch will change into sugars and transported in the plant body, but stored in the form of starch. With this starch is formed at the end of the dark reaction. This is the end product of dark reaction, and here the final product of photosynthesis is the starch itself. So I am repeating the dark reaction once again. During dark reaction, ADP and NADPH formed in light reaction are used to produce the glucose. So it is called a biosynthetic phase, and it is independent of light, so it is called light independent phase. During this process, carbon dioxide is reduced to glucose by using the energy present in ATP and hydrogen present in the NADPH. During this process, several intermediate compounds like ribulose 1,5-bisphosphate will form. This is useful in forming the glucose, and several such glucose molecules combine to form starch, and in the form of starch, the plant body stores the food. So this is regarding the dark reaction, right? So the entire process we can summarize in a flow chart. If you remember like this, it is easy for you to write the entire process mechanism. See here, I have given certain numbers to this flow chart. Come to number 1, what is happening here? You can write the entire process like this, the first one, the first point. The first phase of the photosynthesis is called a light reaction. It occurs in presence of light inside the gram. Got it? The first phase of photosynthesis is called a light reaction. It occurs in presence of light. It occurs in grana of the chloroplast. Second point, what will happen here? Second point, during light reaction, when light fall on the leaf, photons present in light are absorbed by chlorophyll and it get activated. Right? So this is the second point. What is happening here? When light fall on the leaf, photons present in leaf are absorbed by chlorophyll and get activated chlorophyll. So what is happening here? Chlorophyll, when light fall on it, it is getting activated. This is the first step, right? And the third one, what is happening here? The light activated chlorophyll splitting the water molecule into H plus and OH minus ions. Light activated chlorophyll splitting the water molecule into H plus and OH minus ions. Means water molecule in presence of activated chlorophyll splitting into H plus and OH minus ions. This is the third point. Fourth one, this is the fourth one. After a series of reactions, OH minus ions are converted into water and oxygen. Oxygen escapes out and water will used by the plant. Right. So what is happening here? OH minus ions. These OH minus ions are forming water and oxygen, and this oxygen is going out. What is used by the plant body? And the fifth one is protons present here. This is the second one, this is the third one, this is the fourth one, and now this is the fifth one. The protons present here. These protons, they are transferred to NADP plus H plus. Transferred to NADP to form NADPH. Right? And during the movement of photons, ATP will form. So ATP and NADPH will form at the end of the light reaction. So the end products of light reaction. End products of light reaction are ATP, NADPH, water, oxygen. Right? Here this ATP and NADPH are called assimilatory powers, chemical form of energy. So here the light energy is converted into chemical form of energy till the light reaction. In the dark reaction, when it comes to sixth one, dark reaction, what is happening here? The second phase of photosynthesis is called light independent reaction or the dark reaction. It is independent of light and it occurs in stroma of the chloroplast. The second phase of light independent reaction is the second phase of photosynthesis is called a light independent reaction. It takes place in the stroma in presence or in absence of light. So it is independent of light. Okay. During this process, carbon dioxide is fixed in the form of glucose or starch. Carbon dioxide is converted into glucose by using ATP and NADPH formed in light reaction. Right. During this process, several intermediate compounds like RUBP and enzymes are useful. Okay, this is the seventh point. So, seventh point is carbon dioxide using the ATP and NADPH formed in light reaction forms the glucose. During this process, intermediate compounds like RUBP and enzymes are also useful. That's it. This is the seventh one. Okay. And the last one, eighth one, this glucose is converted into starch and stored in the plant. This is simply the mechanism of photosynthesis. And this starch later transformed into sugars and transported to various body parts. And in the various body parts of the plant, these starches are later converted into proteins and fats, all those. So this is regarding the mechanism of photosynthesis. I hope you understand this process. So here, this is a simplified one. When sunlight falls on the leaf, chlorophyll absorbs the light and gets activated. It splits the water molecule and forms the oxygen, ATP and NADH. Take the NADP and the ATP and forms the ATP and NADH. Using this ATP and NADPH, carbon dioxide will be converted into glucose in the stroma. This is the dark reaction. Again, NADP will form and it is ready to use. Of course, regarding ATP, I didn't discuss much because it will become too lengthy. Already we are running out of time. So this is regarding the mechanism of photosynthesis. In tomorrow's class, we can recall everything regarding this once again. So with this, let me conclude my class. Till the tomorrow's class, take care, stay home, use sanitizer and mask. Be safe, be healthy, go through your textbook once to understand the mechanism of photosynthesis. Make a note of it so that you can understand it very easily and remember for a longer duration. Thank you, dear little friends. Take care. Bye.